Yeah, you are completely a slave to the chart, and yeah, I agree. It was a tough 3 weeks, but I made money. I made good money, and it can be done. I just don't want to give out the numbers though, because I feel um, if something bad were to happen, if somebody were to use the numbers that I have to try and benefit off of them, and something bad happened, I would feel responsible. And I'm not saying that it's percentages that trigger the algo, Randall, but it's more like the algorithms are working in a way to where they go to a certain percentage to elicit selling actions. And if they get the selling action, it will actually go lower. But they'll try to elicit to a certain point, and if when it becomes unprofitable, that's when the algorithm kicks off and says, "Okay, allow buying again," right? And so essentially, what happens is you have the for normal securities, and I don't mind giving these percentages away, but it's 20, 35, and 60%. And so you'll see these big turnaround points at 20, 35, and 60%, but you have to know how to track it because you got to be looking at the most previous high that we just had. So in other words, like it's not the all-time high, it's just whatever the last peak was. So for example, for us on this, on AMC, if you were to go back our last previous high, hold on a second, because I track this on a daily basis. Let me pull it up real quick. Our last previous high was 1410. So if you go back out to a 30-minute interval here, you'll see the 1410 that we had. I think it was right in here. So synthetic price failure occurred when it went down. It was approximately 21.3% down to 1109. But all it really had to do was break like 19.5%, right, in order for it to be a synthetic price failure. Now, if it finds, if the algo, and you can see the percentages are listed in these different lines, colored lines. So the blue line is a 19.5% failure. 20% failure is 1128, and 1119 is 21.5%. Anytime you have 21, anything over 21.5% means that there was likely selling pressure that was found as the price was dropping. So price got down here, it kept dropping. If it would have turned around earlier, say like 1128 or 1135, then no shares would have been found as the price was dropping, and you would have seen a return to newer, higher highs off this synthetic price failure. But it did find some paper hands because it made it down past 21.5% to 11.09. The way that you know that you're on an upswing is when you get a 15% increase in price, which is where I've got this blue line at right now at 1275. The problem is there are a few occasions where you will see something very similar to what we have happening right here, where you see it hitting 1275, but never really like driving through it. Like if I take this to a 1 hour, you'll see that there's only one specific point here where it drove past 1275, and it was this point right here. So there was never really a distinctive point at which it really drove past 1275, which means that we're still looking for new lows. We either drive through 1275 really hard, or we're looking for newer lows beyond 1109. And typically speaking, what happens is they'll drop this by that percentage amount. They'll let it rise up 2, 3 times before they'll let it break out, going up even higher. And it's just like these patterns happen consistently over and over and over, and it's uh, it's eye-opening when you realize that it's so religiously occurring. I don't even know if religiously is not the right word, but uh, constantly. I don't know what word to use. It's insane. But yeah, we're getting stuck right now. I've got a little Fibonacci here at 1287, and we're not really able to break past that right now. 1275 is the number. We got to get past this, and it's got to break through it pretty cleanly. And that's how you know you're tracking new highs then, which resets a synthetic price failure, which means at any given time you could drop 20% in price.